All righty, we are going to be talking about Ruby hashes today. How I got here, I of course was in my repo that I'm storing these notes. Checked out my branch. Well, did my get pull origin? You didn't see it up here, but I always get pull origin main. Checked out my branch, made a Ruby hash, Ruby file with the .rb extension, and now I'm in my text editor. And we are currently in the Ruby hash portion of the syllabus. All right, so we're going to be talking about hashes today. Why are hashes important? Because they're a convenient way to collect some related values or objects, and it translates to having less security breaches. It's protecting passwords and some applications files, and it's less memory that you have to store because you can get that value with this key to storing lots of information. Hashes are very similar to the arrays and objects that we've learned from JavaScript in the sense that it stores a collection of data. However, it does not use those indexes to reference the values like in an array. In hashes, we use a key to access data. So much like how you see the objects we've seen in JavaScript. And another difference is that the index of an array is always a number, but there's more flexibility in a hash. That key can be any data type, or I should say class, because we're in Ruby, can be any class. It can be a string, an integer. It can even be an array, as well as the values. There's so much flexibility with a hash. So let me get the header. All right, so a hash. Hash is a collection of unique keys and their values. And there are two ways you can go about creating a hash. You can either use this literal form, meaning with this curly braces, or the new method. All right, so let's look at the first way. All right, so in its literal form, it is using its curly braces. All right, just gonna use some input that you guys gave me from Slack. Bear with me real quick. Let me open it up and get everything from the barbecue. Since we were talking about music yesterday, I was like, perfect thing to go with music. Let's get some food. Start a barbecue. And you're supposed to bring your best dish. I see Elijah, your best dish is watermelon. You have a particular way you cutting that watermelon up? Okay.
Cut it, make it look like a ship.
So I'm gonna store this hash in a variable. So we still use the snake case. And the reason I'm gonna store the hash in a variable just makes it easier for me to go and access it later. So, but the hash itself, the curly braces, how am I going to keep you guys' info over here? Okay, so have my assignment operator. So variable name. in snake case, the assignment operator. Which is one single equal sign. My curly braces will encapsulate those key value pairs. As soon as I start putting the semicolon as an L. Okay. All right, so going back to this list of food items you guys gave me. Oh, Chantel is giving me mashed potatoes. So I'll put Odie, you can do baked beans.
Yeah.
All right. Are you doing them from the can? What's your
I mean,
yeah.
making from
You know,
scratch, with, like brown sugar, the onion mix and all that stuff, but it depends. If it's just like a get together with people, I'll probably just like use cans, but if it's like a family gathering, I'll probably do it from scratch.
well, are we considered family now? I mean, we have solved like got a lot of green on the screen for you. We should be considered family now, right?
Maybe.
Catherine with the macaroni salad. What did you volunteer, Vanessa? Potato salad. We're gonna have a lot. Okay. One time I thought that just having one style of potatoes was enough, but I was soon informed that no, it does not matter.
You've realized the error of your ways.
I realized, yeah. Because I was like, well, I got mashed potatoes. Well, you need potato salad too. Oh, you need French fries. Or I was like, oh my gosh, okay, my bad.
You need every form of starch possible.
Or you know what? I'm gonna save some of these to add in later. Okay, cool. All right. So this style is very familiar to the objects we've seen before. However, over in Ruby, this key is referred to as a symbol. And again, keys can come in any data type. Put it on the second line. I apologize if I keep using the word data type because I'm trying to use the correct syntax of when we're in Ruby land, and that is class. All right. And the pairs are separated by commas, as you can see. Each key value pair is separated by commas. All righty. And if I was to say print this variable that's storing that hash, Ruby. Oh, I got a lot. Hashes. This is the output I would get. All right, let's check out this output. So the output is the older version of hashes. With web development, you'll see that many languages go through different versions. There's always going to be different versions. There's going to be updates. So this older syntax, when the colon, you notice how the colon is on the right side of the variable that I'm using for my key, or the element that I'm using for my key, and the older syntax is on the left. But you're also required to have this, what we call a hash rocket. Which required a hash rocket. And the hash rocket is what separated the keys from the values. Now in the newer syntax, because we are placing that colon behind the key when we're creating, therefore we're not required to have that hash rocket. However, because I did state you can have different classes or data types, when you are going away from the syntax and just using it as a symbol, if you were to have mashed potatoes be a string, for instance, just going to use the whole one. I'll move this up for a moment. If I wanted to use a string, then I would have to have a hash rocket. I think it's going to require a colon to be on this side. Let me make sure. Go back and look at an example of it. Now let's see if this works. We got the console over here, right? All righty. Let me print it. This undefined. Oh, I thought I tabbed. I definitely don't have anything called ec. Cool. So when you are doing something other than a symbol, you need to make sure you're using that hash rocket to separate what is your key and what's going to be your value. All right. Okay, looked at the syntax, the output. All right, cool. All right, show you the second method. So second way. Second way to create a hash. All right, we're going to use a new method. So the second way is what I was. A hash dot new. So I'll be instantiating this hash class or making a new instance of the hash class or making an empty object with it. That creates an empty hash. Instantiating. All right, any questions about those two ways to create a hash?
100%. I don't under. Okay, so the first one is you're just making the Echo Barbecue, like the brackets, and then putting it inside, right?
Yes.
And then and then I don't understand where the rocket ship comes into play, or what do you mean the second type is? What, I'm so confused.
It's okay. I was showing you different ways and I looked at the output. So I was just explaining to you what this output means. So when we'll make another one. What are some things you like? Singing.
Macaroni salad.
What'd you say?
Macaroni salad.
Okay. We'll call it macaroni salad. That's going to store this. The hash itself, I was just simply assigning a variable to the hash so I can just call upon it. I'll be able to call upon these values and things later. But the hash itself is the curly braces and the key value pairs. That's the hash itself.
And then the second way, when you did the second way, you didn't actually make anything though, right? You just made.
Okay. I didn't tell it to have specific properties. It was just simply making that hash, and it's making an empty hash that going to show you how to add key value pairs to it in this next process.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I was confused. I didn't know if the hash made the key value pair or the.
Yeah, well, when the hash came into play, so the keys can be any data type. Where the hash comes into play is because right now I'm using a symbol as my key. The symbol here. So keys. Data type, okay, class. So if it's a symbol, the symbol was when I put. Do you want me to use the current example or would you rather a new example? Because
That's fine. Yeah, you can use that one.
Okay,
I'm
so
just
you
trying
can
to
see
grasp
the
it,
parts, yeah. So.
So the symbol's mashed potatoes and baked
Yeah,
beans,
and
right?
this, yeah, the symbol is not just mashed potatoes, but the mashed potatoes with the colon. If I was,
But the colon's before it when you get it returned, right?
the output, yeah, the output is gonna be in the older syntax. So I was just explaining to you that that is just how it prints out in that older syntax. But when
Okay,
we're
I can take
creating it, this is how that symbol looks. So if I was to create, show you this example again. That was not trying to do that. So if I was to create my key, now if I'm using it as a string, I don't have this colon, but I do need the hash rocket. Oh, but I didn't tell it to print anything because I don't have anything. So that's the versatility of having a hash. You can store your keys and values different ways. But now my symbol, so I'll put all the symbols that I have here. Oh, I left off the colon. Macaroni salad with the colon is my key. Or my symbol, sorry. And the potato salad with the colon is the symbol. Does that make sense? So the symbol data type is being used for the key when I created my hash here. But now I'm not only using a symbol, but I'm also using a string. So what's my string that I'm using as a key?
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah. And therefore I needed a hash rocket. But as my symbols, everywhere that I use a symbol, so what are the examples of me using a symbol as on this structure as a key?
Potato salad.
Potato salad, what else?
Macaroni.
Potato salad, what?
Colon.
Yeah. And what else?
Macaroni salad. Baked, macaroni salad, colon. And then baked beans, colon.
Does that help some, Cliff?
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. It's
Okay.
just confusing. I'm gonna have to play with it.
Yeah. And I'm sorry if me introducing and explaining what the output was, that's what that section was. What I can do is pull it out if that helps towards the top, explaining the output. Or I can put that this is explaining the output. This was just the explanation of that output.
I think I just got confused because I was reading along in the syllabus at the same time, and the colons run opposite sides and stuff.
Okay. Cool.
And so again, now that first hash rocket, eh, right there, that serves what purpose again?
So this is, so the beauty of having a hash, you're not stuck to only having one data type or class on creating the keys. It can take, I can even put an array right there. But the minute, if I'm not using the symbol to represent my key, which is this, the name with the colon, if I'm not using a symbol, I have to use a hash rocket. In this case, I use a string. So I had to use the hash rocket to, and the hash rocket, all it's doing is helping me identify which side is the key. The key is always going to be to the left of the hash rocket, and to the right of it will be my value.
Okay.
But that's only comes to play when you're not using the symbol.
So was that the second way you were gonna show us how to do it? How to create another hash? Was that the second way?
Yeah, the second way was using the new method,
Okay.
and the first was doing this method up here, the
Okay.
literal form with the curly braces and the key value pairs.
Okay.
So here, I'll put them together. Doo, doo. Cool, is that better? Better
Mhm.
flow? All righty. Cool. So when we are working with data, there are 4 major actions that you are concerned with. Either you're going to be creating content, or you're going to be reading that information. You want to return some data, you are going to be updating that content or you'll be deleting that content. And that brings in a principle of CRUD actions. So create. All right. So there were a couple more. I saw that somebody had grilled corn. What else was there that I didn't add? So Namir has this great grilled corn, and we're going to add that tahini infused watermelon from Elijah. So if we are creating content or adding values to our hash, we provide, so we want the symbol, let's see, the symbol in square brackets. And assign a value. All right, so the name of, well, I need a comment one. Let me bring it down here so I have something.
Can we do an example where the key and the value, like the value is a number, not another string?
Okay,
Just so it's easier for my, like, I don't know, just so it's not two strings.
well, it's not two strings right now.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
But you want numbers instead?
No, it's fine. I'm just trying to grasp it. I'm typing it up at the same time and trying to grasp it all.
Okay, okay, we can say we can see how many types of potato salads and mashed potatoes there are. I'll put 4. Catherine, there was a lot of competition for macaroni salad.
I'll
Right.
type it up too. I'm doing what you said before. I'm changing my way of I know you have headphones on. A way of working or studying.
Cool. Okay. I call it barbecue dishes or something, or meals. Okay. All right. So, sometimes people say they're gonna bring things, and well, that would be me updating. So right now I'm gonna add. I just got informed that there are grilled corn dishes out there. So I need to call up on this. I'm going to call up on this variable that is storing the hash, which is barbecue meals, and tell it, I need you to go. We're going to be adding this symbol. So I do the colon and then I'll say grilled corn. Outside of that, it's going to have this value. And because it's a number, I don't do quotation marks. Let's say three people decide to bring some grilled corn. Oh, and I need to print my grilled corn to see everything, or print the barbecue meals. Alrighty. Let me clear this out so you can see that at the top. And is this big enough? I know some people only have one screen. Is this big enough for everybody? I don't hear anything because I can't see everybody's faces.
Looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it's not going to change the order. It just adds whatever new key value pair I'm adding goes to the end of that hash. So now we know there's at least going to be 3 pans of grilled corn at that table. And I can also add that watermelon, that tahini watermelon, to the colon or my symbol that I'm adding. Do I need to give it a special name? Should I call it tahini melon, or what do you want me to call it?
Watermelon's good.
Watermelon was just fine. Oh, we don't want them to know. It's leave everybody in suspense about that surprise. Okay. Right now, I know there's one person that's bringing it to me. And if I go print it out. Cool. And when I did the print for the full hash, that is a way of that we do the read content. You're actually just displaying your outputting, but that's showing all of the key value pairs. But if I just wanted to know, somebody else said they wanted to bring a dish and was like, well, what can I bring? So I'm going back to look at, well, how many baked beans do we have? If I want to see one, just to display one. That's all right. Prepare. Then I need to access that value by the key. So I can say, calling on barbecue meals, because that is storing my hash. And in this case, it's a symbol. So I'm going to put colon and baked beans. Let's see. Print out all of this and just comment in all of that out. So it's going to give me the value. So I should say specific value. All righty. If I wanted to update information, because as we know, people say they're going to bring stuff, but then it's like, oh, something happened, so I'm not coming. So for people that do that foulness, somebody decided that one of the mashed potatoes people called and said they're not going to be able to make it. So I'm going to update our list. So we will call upon that name again, the variable that is storing my hash, barbecue meals, the square brackets, because we are going to access that symbol. Right now we're using the symbol for mashed potatoes. So do the colon and mashed potatoes. And now I'm just going to assign it a new value. At this point, it's an integer, but it's going to be 3 now. And then I'll say print. I'll just print the whole hash. All right, and my mashed potato is now 3. It was 4, but now it's 3.
Can you update the entire list by just going under all of them by mentioning it?
Say again?
Can you update the entire list, like BBQ? About if you have to update the entire list?
If I wanted to update the entire list,
Yeah.
then I would go through and tell it what key, I'll say what symbol, because right now I'm using symbols.
Inside the same
What
bracket,
symbol,
or
and then
inside the same bracket, or you're gonna create another call BBQ meals and then the name?
as far as I've seen is you update it individually, but let's try it out. Let me put this output real quick. I like trying out ideas. If it don't work, then we know. So you're saying let's do it all on one call. I think it'll work if I'm only telling it one value, but let's see. So we're gonna see. Well, let's see if it'll just do. If it does 2, then I know it should be able to do more. So I'll just say we're down to 1 dish. So the question was if we could update multiple.
Multiple, but individually, like mashed potato in this case to 4, and then baked beans to like 6.
Okay.
Or
Let's
you have
see.
to write it individually. I'm just trying to see, which one.
to me, we would have to do something like that, but I've never done it that way, but we'll see. Because normally I'm used to just doing it one at a time, but we shall see. Let's test it out. Wrong number of arguments, given 3, expected 2. Because right now in here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it doesn't like that.
Or do it like individually, create another barbecue meals. and
Yeah, that's the syntax I'm accustomed to doing it singly, but I was trying to test out your theory.
Okay.
I was just trying to test out your theory.
Is there any way to increase the numbers since they're all numbers? And let's just say we got an extra 2 servings of everything. Can you, or like, let's just say we got 2 more of mashed potatoes. Is there a way to say +2 instead of writing the new total? Is there a way to say add 2 on top of the total we already have?
You know what? I will have to look into that one. That'll be something good to explore. I think it's going to be above the concept right now. Above this general concept, but we can definitely look into that. Can we put that in an icebox category?
Yeah, yeah.
It means we'll
absolutely.
still look at it just right now to get our just to get the understanding, the basic concept is going to be beyond that one. So I'll be very happy to look into it, but just right now. As far as your answer, DeWitt, you will have to, how I was showing, you do need to do the individual keys and values if you want to update the information in the hash. If you see something else that's out there, you're welcome to share it on Slack and we can look at it. But as of right now, if I wanted to update my values, I need to reference that key. And right now I have a symbol. That's why I have to do the colon with the name, the assignment operator, and giving that new value. So you have to do it separately. So you want to mashed potatoes before, and then if I want to bake beans, change it to 1.
Could we not make like a method with this hash and then just do like value +2 for all key items, for all key or whatever?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Could you repeat it?
It's just going off what Cliff was asking, like how, let's say you needed to increase everything by 2, like multiply by 2. Could we not make a method and then use it and then have it multiply by 2 to the values?
We will be going over doing the methods. I got one more thing to show you, delete content, and then we'll go on methods and we'll play with the map and everything. Okay, so I understand what you're saying now, Cliff. We will address that in this lecture. Cool. I just have one more concept to finish on the CRUD, and then we will jump into those. Okay. I didn't hear anything, so I'm assuming it's a good thing not to hear anything.
Yes. Sorry.
No problem. All right. So if just to recap to ensure, at first I was just testing out something that was mentioned, but we see now that we need to keep the structure of referencing the key and assigning a value to update those values within the hash. All right, so to finish up this delete content. All right, so if I'm going to be removing something, you know what? Chantel had to go talk to some internships, so we're not going to have mashed potatoes at all. So I'm going to be removing these mashed potatoes. So I will use the delete method. All right, so we will call upon that variable that I'm storing. Append the delete method. Make sure I put the parentheses up there. Within the argument of the delete method, I'm going to call upon that symbol of what I'm removing. So the colon and mashed potatoes. All right, and now when I print out this barbecue meals hash, I shouldn't see the mashed potatoes on there anymore. Cool, it has been removed. Awesome. All right, so there is a concept in Ruby called modules. Modules are a way of grouping together like things that have similar properties. So one of the main modules we have in Ruby is called enumerable module. It's called an enumerable module.
Sorry, could you repeat that? The modules are a way of grouping what?
They are a way of grouping like things, objects that have similar properties.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. And in enumerable refers to objects that are iterable. Meaning you can do iterations such as hashes, arrays, ranges. So remember in yesterland of JavaScript, we had those built-in methods, but they were particular to a data type. For instance, map was a high order function for arrays to uppercase. You use it on a string. So again, they were attached to a data type. And Ruby, there's a different approach with methods. So rather than limit it to a single data type or class, it looks at the behavior of that object, which in turn allows it to use certain methods. So methods in Ruby are based on action or behavior rather than what class are you. And that concept is duck typing. Duck typing. Based on the use of the method, the behavior. The behavior of object rather than its class. And oftentimes you hear, if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, then it's a duck. You've heard of that before. I probably said it wrong. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. And that is, they're just simply basing it on the behavior. So when it comes to ranges, arrays, and hashes, we'll group them together under the category of enumerables. And let's see, how are you guys feeling out there? Because I just have this one last thing, but I can give you a break and we can come back and finish it up.
I think a break would be very good.
Awesome. All right, let's take a break. Please come back at 2:40 in 10 minutes. Sounds good? Awesome.
I figured it out too. It was plus equals 1. So like if you wanted to multiply it, or if you wanted to add it, like if I added 1, I could do it that way.
All righty. What you guys been waiting for? What you're excited about? Introducing, iterations across the hashes. Because, they have multiple elements in them. And there'll be times we want to iterate across a hash. We want to do something to each element inside of there. So let's first use this concept using the each method. So I'm gonna make it print out some. So the barbecue meals. So I'll call on that dot each. I'm going to use on my hash. With our code block, we know we need a do and an in. So a hash is very similar to an array. It's only we have access to key and values. So I'm going to assign within our pikes. Oh, I saw one person do it. Austin, did you see who did it? Do you have the stickers ready? So I'm going to assign key and value to the key and value of my hash. So I'm using these variables to access the information. And I'm going to tell it, hey, I want you to print out. I'm going to use string interpolation. We have a total of pound curly braces, this many. Oop, wait, what crazy over there? My pound curly braces of that key. Okay, let's see. I can keep that up there. That's fine. Clear it so have a. All right, now I'm gonna run it. We have a total of 1 baked beans, 5 macaroni and salads. We have a total of 2 potato salads. We have a total of 3 grilled corns, and we have a total of 2 watermelon. Cool. All right, so this block received two arguments. The first is the key, and the second is that value. So, one of the key things I know when I was going through, it was hard for me, like, okay, what's the difference between this each and the map and what it's doing? So the each is simply implicitly returning that original, the original values or structure that we had. It's not going to make a change. We would have to implement some more steps to actually change those values that we wanted. That's where map comes in handy. So for instance, if I wanted to so I'm doing my dot map, gonna do my do. Now my block needs an end. Every do has an end. Because I have a hash and I want to talk about my parameters, what do I use? Pikes. I saw the hands out there. I'm going to tell it let's see.
Add value.
Sorry. I thought I heard something. Like, am I hearing things?
I think delete said something.
Never mind.
So who's bringing those? Again, referencing. So everybody wants to know who's cooking to the barbecue. So who is bringing? Bear with me, trying to show you the example. Okay, so they look very similar. Yes, I'm going to get an output based on what I told it to do within my code block. And I said I wanted a question of who is bringing those and to pass each of those keys to the barbecue. And let's look at our hash. Barbecue meals. I keep thinking I'm picking that tab to put everything in there. No, I do not have anything called barbecue that's storing anything, but I do have barbecue meals. So, basing it on what Cliff was talking about, if I wanted to change those values. Hopefully this example works for me. All right, so for the value. I'm going off the grain, Austin, so I might need you in here in a little bit, but I'm gonna add this, this one as you were stating, Clifford. So we just wanted to update our value. That'll be the correct way to go about doing that, right? Or would I need to assign it? A little close?
Probably plus equal 1.
Thank you. Cool. Let me comment this out so it doesn't pop up. Okay.
Yeah, run it. You'll see what happens. It values.
I need
the
a
values weird.
reference. I need to do the key, but let's just run it. So right now, the each method is going to do exactly what I stated. I wanted it to add 1 to the value of each of these key value pairs, and it did that. It updated everything. 2, 6, 3, because my potatoes was 2, but now it's 3. The value of my grilled corn was 3, but now it's 4, as well as watermelon was 2, but now it's 3. So that is a dynamic way of doing it. But as you can see, when I run the each method, it is not going to change my hash. It does not change the hash. It will just simply output what I told it to do to each thing. So I will update this. Now, when I run out my map, same concept. Okay, I'm going to clear this just so we have more space. And I'll add it on here just so you guys can see the numbers too. Add that value on there. Oop, I wanted the space behind there. Okay, let's run this again so you can see. Gosh darn it, it's not portraying what I wanted it to portray.
Sorry, just to clarify, we are trying to increase the values that are held in the hash.
Yes.
Okay, so instead of calling on value, which is locally scoped between 116 and 119, starting at the do and the end block, we want to call on the values themselves
Okay.
that are associated with the keys. So what we want to do is we want to call on barbecue meals on 117 where the word value is.
Mhm.
We want to call them barbecue meals and then pass the key syntax
To reassign it. Yeah.
and then pass in the actual key itself and get rid of the word value. Because now we're going to access something outside of ourselves. We're going to access a variable outside of this scope. So we're going to need that Q and then key. Key and then plus equals 1. All right, something like this should work.
Yeah.
Might need to finagle it a little bit with maybe like some strings or something, but we'll get there.
You know, yeah, that'll make sense because now I'm for sure reassigning that.
Yeah, and so this is about the issue of scope. So keeping track of what variables we're augmenting and what can see those variables. All right, so I think what we're gonna need is
undefined method for class.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is barbecue meals at key equals barbecue meals equals value plus 1.
So equals.
Yeah, value plus 1. This just will take like, usually if I'm doing something like this, it'll just take me a few.
Okay.
Add a new
I'm
key
sorry,
into
guys.
its iteration. It just takes me
You
a
know, the
few times.
idea I wanted to convey, because .map is supposed to update that hash.
Map's supposed to return a new hash, I thought.
Yeah, and it did not convey that when I went to print it out again. So I'm gonna do some more research.
Map is so confusing on the fly.
Yeah,
But
barbecue meals cold and all the way in the bottom.
yeah, because all of this is just, it doesn't recognize all this out. Yeah, I wanted to show how the hash looks after I run my map across it, but
You're doing it twice, the barbecue meal, so you maybe change one of the like line 118.
I was printing it out before I ran the map just so you can see the numbers change.
Charlene, can I try something real quick?
Let's do it.
All right.
I'll
Instead of .map, let's just do a .each real quick. I just want to see the each work on this. So on line 116, can we just update it to each? I want to make sure that this works. So we're gonna need an each do, not a map.
Oh, you know what? I left my do off.
No,
Did
no,
I leave my do?
you just replaced it just now.
Oh, okay. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Each.
So barbecue meals .each. Okay, let's just run this real quick. I want to see whether or not I have my syntax correct. All right, give me a
I
sec.
can't add a new key into the hash.
during iteration. So that's looking to add a key. All right. Can we do? All right. That's fine. Let's turn it back to map, delete line 117 and delete line 118 real quick. I just want to see something.
You said delete 118?
Now the new 117. Let's just get rid of this string for a second. We'll bring it back.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Change it back to a map real quick. All right, can we just return value for real quick? No P, just return on value. Cool. And run that. All right, can we save 116 to a variable? We'll call it in like more barbecue.
I didn't hear you.
Call it more barbecue.
More, okay.
Yeah, because map really wants to return an array that has to be saved as a new variable when we're accessing it. Okay, now let's do value plus 1. Cool, and return and then print more barbecue. All right, let's get that. Okay, cool. So what we got back was an array, which is 2, 6, 3, 4, and 3. So this answers my question. The map is always returning an array. It's not returning a new hash. It's not returning the same hash values. If we want to take the map and we want to turn that into values in a hash, we will have to insert those values into a hash somehow, but it doesn't want to do that during iteration. So there's a finagling that would have to happen. So map's not great for creating a new hash. It is super useful for going through a bunch of hashes that have usernames, grabbing the usernames, throwing them into an array, or user posts, or user hash it, like post hashes, grabbing them, throwing into the array, and iterating over those to display to our user. So this is just a tool to know when you're working with hashes and you need an array back, you're going to use a map.
Okay.
Map will return an array, not a hash, not change an array.
It will
Return an array. Cool.
okay.
So it's a good way to transform a hash into an array without changing your previous hash.
Okay, it can transform. Oh God. Cool. Let me put my old hash. I'll keep these notes. How are you guys doing?
Just have a quick question.
Go for it.
The dot each, so that turns it into a string, and then dot map turns it into an array. Is that correct?
When I stored it into a variable, I was able to print out the array that the map wants to return. But here, I'll show you initially. I copied this. Let me store it somewhere real quick. Go back to the data that I had up there. I was merging my ideas together. I was thinking that my map was going to actually transform my hash, but actually it transforms an array. The map always wants to return an array. It always wants to return an array. So I'm going to go back to the example that I had before. Bear with me on my Command Z's. I have copied these notes. I'm going to put the notes about the hash up there, but bear with me. And I think it was upset with this syntax, right? Alrighty. Make sure I save that too. Okay. And did we add? Key value, I did the value +1.
So we're not going to see anything from this unless we assign this map to a variable and then print that variable. And the question was, maps return arrays and each returns strings. And the important part is that each doesn't return anything forcibly. It only does what we tell it to do the same number of times as an array is, or a range is, or a hash is.
Oh,
so I could tell it, hey, jump, and it would jump 20 times if my hash is 20 items long.
so I didn't have the plus equal. That's why I wasn't updating that value at that time. Okay. Okay, I'm just updating the notes back to what we had. Okay, and the example that we had where we stored the information, that map into a variable so we can access the array that the map wants to return. I'm gonna give that back to you. To access the array. Okay. So now you can see the array. And I'm just updating the notes right now. If you have more questions, please bring them up. No more questions? Okay. We will be working in the Ruby Challenges repo. And we are currently in the Ruby hashes, the very bottom. All right. So we're going to be practicing with our hashes. I can create a hash called my phone using the Ruby method.new. I can add 5 key value pairs of app names and their descriptions. I can return a value. We know how to update. We went over deleting. I can use an enumerable method to return information about all of my phone's applications. And on the scratch, you'll be making a custom method that takes in my phone, returns an array with the app name capitalized and information about each phone app. Sounds like you guys are going to have some fun. So things to think about. What is a hash? You guys recall what a hash is?
It's a collection of unique keys and their values.
Awesome. How would you access just one value from a hash?
By the key.
Yeah, make a reference to the key. And in the case of the examples I've shown you so far, just have been using symbols. Do you recall how you will reference using that symbol as the key?
We would have a hash name and then bracket notation with the symbol inside.
Yeah. So the colon and then that name. Awesome. What is duck typing?
It bases the use of a method on the behavior of the object rather than its class.
Awesome. Well, thank you much. Thank you much for your attention. Let me stop the video.